So very good afternoon and welcome to a new episode of Inside Egypt, where we bring you the latest political, economic and cultural events that are taking place here inside Egypt, all in the form of reports prepared by our correspondents and reporters at Now TV International. My name is Angie Meher. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back after the short break. Welcome back. The Interior Ministry announced that those involved in Sunday's St. Peter's Chapel attack were arrested. In the statement, the Interior Ministry said that it had formed an investigative team that had checked the crime scene and unveiled the criminal elements responsible for the attack. The statement said that Moheb Mustafa Sayyid Qasim was in connection with members of the terrorist brotherhood group in Qatar and planned for terrorist attacks in Egypt. Qasim received financial and logistical support to train other elements in North Sinai. Upon the assignment, Qasim recruited a number of elements to help him in carrying out the attacks. The statement revealed information on the suicide bomber in Sunday's attack. It said that 22-year-old Mahmoud Shafiq Muhammad Mustafa was arrested in 2014 in a protest held by the Brotherhood terrorist group whilst possessing a machine gun. The Interior Ministry statement said that the cell's hideout in the Zatoun district in Cairo was raided, adding that 2 explosive belts were found in addition to other materials used in making bombs. Other members of the cell were also arrested, and those are Rami Muhammad and Muhammad Hamdi, Mohsen Mustafa, the brother of runaway leader Moheb, as well as Aoul Hassin. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi announced on Monday that the terrorist attack in St. Peter's Church on Sunday was carried out by a suicide bomber. The president identified the suicide bomber as 22-year-old Mahmoud Shafiq Muhammad Mustafa, who wore an explosive belt. The statements were made during a state funeral held for the martyrs. President el-Sisi and Pope Tawadros II, the Pope of Alexandria and the Patriarch of the Holy Apostolic See, led the state funeral held for the martyrs of Sunday's terrorist attack in St. Peter's Church. We have the details.
Governments of several countries have expressed condolences to Egypt after Sunday's terrorist attack in the Arab region. The governments and ambassadors of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, Lebanon and Tunisia have condemned the attack. Secretary General of the Arab League, Ahmed, and the Arab Parliament said that the incident is the latest in a series of terrorist attacks that hit the country. Meanwhile, Secretary General of the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, also condemned the attack, saying that such acts stand against all ethical and human values. In a statement, Al Zayani reiterated that the GCC supports Egypt in its efforts to combat terrorism. Head of the African Union Commission confirmed that the AU is willing to lend support to Egypt in its confrontation with terrorism as part of efforts to combat violence and extremism in the continent. A spokesperson for the EU High Representative expressed condolences to the martyrs' families. The EU said it stands side by side with Egypt in efforts to defeat terrorism. Russian President Vladimir Putin denounced the brutal attack and expressed his shock and grief, particularly given the high number of women and children among the victims. French President Francois denounced the attack in a statement, while the French ministry condemned the gruesome attack and affirmed support for Egypt in its war against terrorism. Germany's foreign ministry also condemned the bloody attack, reaffirming support for Egypt's counter-terrorism efforts. The U.S. Embassy in Cairo condemned the attack, while U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry expressed condolences to his Egyptian counterpart Sameh Shoukry in a phone call Sunday evening. Kerry also expressed his country's confidence that the Egyptian people will be able to overcome the current crisis and defeat terrorism. The U.S. Secretary of State said that the United States will continue to cooperate with Egypt in the international forums to combat terrorism. The British ambassador also issued a statement condemning the attack, while the Belgian foreign minister expressed his shock at the attack on civilians. The Dutch, Armenian, Swiss and Danish embassies in Cairo have also condemned Sunday's terrorist attack.
Egyptians' resolve and unity has been tested in light of the latest terrorist attacks that took place in St. Peter's Church in Abbasiyah. But Egyptians have once again foiled any attempt to disrupt their nation's unity. Now TV's Shuruq Bakir went to the streets to get the people's reactions about the brutal attack.
الشعب المصري كله زعلان عامة بصفة عامة، لأن النصارى والمسلمين واحد، والشعب يعني دي فتنة سواء من الداخل أو من الخارج، دي فتنة وربنا يقدرنا عليها. يعني
غضب المصريين كلهم هو اللي حصل في الكنيسة، وده شيء بيزيد المصريين إصرارا على مواقفهم الوطنية، وده عمره ما هيهز الشعب المصري، وإن شاء الله مصر في تقدم، وإن شاء الله مصر في تحسن بإذن الله.
والله الفترة الأخيرة الواحد مستاء أصلا من كتر الأحداث الإرهابية اللي بتتم في البلد. احنا دلوقتي بدأنا بحادث المساجد ومع المصريين ومع المسلمين، دلوقتي لقيت نفسنا داخلين برضه في الطائفة الثانية اخواتنا المسيحيين. احنا طول عمرنا نسيج واحد في المجتمع.
والله احنا بنقول لكل شهدائنا ومديهم تعزينا، ونقول لهم مصر برضه تفضل في امان وفي سلام لحد يوم الدين، وان كل اللي بيحصل ده هم ولا هيهزوا اي حاجة من مصر.
أنا كنت في الجيش في 73، ما كانش في فرق بين مسلم ومسيحي، كنا في معركة واحدة، والبلد دي ما حدش يعرف فرقنا خالص.
The brutal terrorism attack that hit the cathedral affected all the Egyptians emotionally, yet didn't affect their unity. Shuruk Bikir, Nile TV International.
More world leaders reacted to Sunday's terrorist attack. Moroccan King Mohammed VI sent condolences message to President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The president of Belarus, President Alexander Lukashenko, also sent a similar message expressing support to Egypt in the fight against terrorism. President el-Sisi also received a phone call from Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras, in which he expressed condolences to the families of the martyrs, reiterating his country's full support to Egypt. We have the details.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and leading officials attended a state funeral procession at the Unknown Soldier Memorial in the Nasr city for the martyrs of a bombing that took place at the cathedral complex a day before, killing 24 people. In a speech after the state funeral, el-Sisi announced that the attack was carried out by a 22-year-old suicide bomber. He said that Mahmoud Shafiq Muhammad Mustafa carried out the attack, adding that 4 people have been arrested, including 1 woman, for involvement in the incident, while 2 more were being pursued. Later, the Interior Ministry announced that more suspects had been arrested. A funeral service was conducted by Pope Tawadros II at the Church of the Virgin Mary, also in Nasr City, on Monday morning. Following the attack, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi announced that the country will observe 3 days of mourning. 24 people were killed and 49 injured after a bomb exploded inside a church attached to the Coptic Cathedral in Cairo on Sunday. According to the Health Ministry, 23 died on Sunday. A 24th casualty died early on Monday morning. Pope Tawadros, who cut short visit to Greece to return to Cairo after the attack on Sunday, said that the Greek president and the head of the Greek church sent their condolences to Egypt. Pope Tawadros said whoever did this attack does not belong to the Egyptian people. The Pope said that the attack is a painful incident not only to the church but to the whole country, adding that all Egyptians share the grief. The Pope stressed the importance of national unity and prayed for peace for Egypt and Egyptians.
The third general session of the first monthly youth dialogue session focused on the economic reforms taking place in the country. Participants of the session were Prime Minister Sharif Ismail, as well as the Ministers of Finance and Investment and the Governor of the Central Bank. Now TV's Linda Abdul Latif conducted the following interview with the Minister of Finance, Amr Garhi, to shed more light on the session.
Sir, we would like you to shed more light on the session that you participated in that was held under the title Economic Reforms and the Youth Vision.
Look, it was the session was about the recent economic reform and the current status of the Egyptian economy, and what are the challenges and what are the opportunities, and what we are going to do in the next period of time. As you know, the economic reform action that have been taken recently have affected negatively on people in terms of price increases, so on and so forth. But people should know that these things are related to issues that have not been handled for a very long time. time, and the impact of it has been delayed for a long time, and as a result it comes in a form of a difficult measures, while in fact it is something that has been delayed in dealing with in a gradual way. So basically it's very important to take these reform actions and to continue into this direction until we put the economy on the right track, and then we will be receiving more investment, and the economy will grow much faster, and will be able to handle all our issues in terms of economic situation.
And what is the ministry's current plan in order to improve economic conditions in the country?
Look, it's not only the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance and the central bank and the entire economic team basically is to take the right policies, to put the right policy in terms of really how to reduce the budget deficit by increasing revenues and really cutting costs, better targeting of subsidy, making sure that subsidy goes to the people that deserve it the most and not to go in absolute form. So this is a lot of work that needs to be done in the near future, and hence a lot of work is taking place to address those issues.
And how do you see finally the importance of getting engaged with the youth and discussing with them issues related to things that are going on?
With who?
The youth.
Look, it's a very young country, Egypt, very, very young country, and a lot of energy is there. It's either we utilize this level of energy in a positive way, or we leave it that it can go into a very negative territory. So it is very important that we address those issues by really liberating the economy, let the economy grow much faster, and really create more jobs to the youth. So it is very important to be very careful about that, be very alert about that, because it's a very young nation, has a lot of promising future, great demography. If we utilize it right, we're going to be one of the most important countries in the world in a short period of time. 25-30 years from now, we could be one of the best countries in the world.
We now bring you the latest updates from the military activities this week with Yasmin Ibrahim.
Minister of Defense Sadi Subhi met on Wednesday with Pakistan's Military Production Minister Rana Tanvir, where they discussed boosting military cooperation as well as regional issues of mutual interest. Subhi praised the deep historical ties between Egypt and Pakistan, highlighting Egypt's keenness for further cooperation between the armed forces of both countries. Minister Tanvir expressed his country's appreciation for Egypt's support to the countries and people of the region, and called for an exchange of expertise between the militaries of both countries. Elements of the Egyptian naval and air forces left for Greece to take part in the joint Egyptian-Greek military exercises Medusa 2016 that is held on the 8th until the 12th of December as part of the armed forces plan to hold military training with friendly countries. The joint drills will include maneuvers on the planning and management of joint naval operations, carrying out naval formations in day and night, as well as naval interception operations, search and rescue operations, and other naval trainings. The Egyptian Air Force elements will also take part with the Greek Air Force units in carrying out several training missions using the state-of-the-art air tactics. The drills come in light of growth of military partnership and cooperation between two countries' armed forces and coordination of efforts and joint work in face of heightening challenges in the Mediterranean. Egyptian Chief of Staff Mahmoud Hagazi left for Athens on a several-day official visit to Greece. There, he will attend activities of a Senior Leaders' Day that come as part of a joint Egyptian-Greek military exercise, Medusa 2016. is also scheduled to have important talks with Greek leaders on military cooperation. Egyptian armed forces shared the people of Sheikh Zayed in northern Sinai, their happiness and celebrations of returning to their homes after confronting and crushing terror in the city. Life returned to normal in Sheikh Zayed following fierce confrontations over the past days to purge all terrorist hotbeds in the city. A video was released by official army spokesman Brigadier General Mohammed Samir, showing residents in the city and receiving gifts such as flags and food rations from the army. Samir said normal life has been restored inside the city after great successes in counter-terrorism achieved by the army in northern Sinai.
With this, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up today's episode of Inside Egypt, where we brought you the latest political, economic and cultural events taking place here inside Egypt. My name is Angie Meher. Many thanks for joining us.